Yo, what up with it, y'all? What's cracking with everybody, man? Y'all already know, man, what time it is, man. It's Truck and Chubby. Yo, sports with Truck and Chubby. So I wanted to holler at y'all today, man, about Bill Belichick, man. One of the greatest coaches in the NFL history, man. Go down. An all-time great coach is Bill Belichick. Hands down, I think that he deserves it. He was recently on a Pivot podcast. I don't know if any of y'all really got the chance to check that out or not, but I think it was a great interview. And Nick Saban was on there. I'm sorry, but he talked about Bill Belichick. And I was initially, and the ironic thing about this was I was just about to do a video with college football news like I do every week, but I was going to open up with Bill Belichick. And the reason it being is because if you look at what Bill Belichick was able to accomplish, right? It's crazy, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and what and how the way Bill Belichick rolls down there at South Carolina, the dude roll like no other. Let's just call it what it is. First of all, he rolls like no other out there. You can't compare what Bill Belichick is about to do because he looks for a certain type of person and a certain type of player, like how Nick Saban said on that. By the way, y'all go check that out on the Pivot podcast. Pivot, you know what I'm saying? It was, the interview was dope. I thought the interview was decent with Nick Saban on there, but Nick Saban got to talking about Belichick and how he's meticulous on the type of player, the prototype, the kind of player he want for all positions. And I was getting ready to shout out Bill Belichick for picking up a young man out of the transfer portal from Prairie View A&M. And why is that? Some people may be saying, "Oh, what was you?" Yeah, like I really was, because not everybody's looking for a William Boone offensive tackle, 6'6", 340 pounds from Prairie View A&M. Now he may be a 3-star, but he may come in and be a mauler. He's 6'6", 340 pounds, an offensive tackle from Prairie View A&M, and Belichick got him from Prairie View A&M. Now, one thing about Bill Belichick is that Bill Belichick is an old school coach. So when he scouts colleges, he just don't pick certain colleges that he wants players from. He goes all around to find talent. He goes everywhere to find talent. He found somebody at Prairie View A&M that fits the mold. Now, I still, and I don't know why I still don't know the question to this, because I should know by now if or not his son is going to be coaching at that school, but I seem to can't find the information on that, if he's going to be coaching at North Carolina with his dad or not. Now I should know that, but it's just I don't know what's going on with that information. I'll try to get some more on that while I'm going through this. But yeah, man, William Boone is an offensive tackle from Prairie View A&M that Bill Belichick got over there to North Carolina, and that just goes to show how deep his mind goes. Like, he thinks outside of the box when it comes to recruitment. I don't know why more HBCU players are not grabbed and brought up, and especially now that, I mean, HBCU players have always been, you know what I mean, good, or there's been greats in the NFL. Walter Payton, Steve McNair. There's a whole bunch of others that come from HBCUs that played in the NFL and had good careers, good to great careers, and a couple of Hall of Famers. And so, with that being said, Bill Belichick comes from that tree, especially in the 80s, where he started, late 70s, early 80s, stuff like that. You know what I mean? He comes from that era where coaches was like, man, talent's talent. If we can get this guy from Grambling University, we gonna get him. You know what I'm saying? Because then the level of dog was just the level of dog and how much you worked out. And I still feel the same way upon that. Like, even though these teams don't have the facilities to train their athletes, like, is that really that big of an excuse to not move up in competition? You know what I'm saying? Is that really the excuse to not have your players in shape, or for players not to be in shape, or players not to be developed because you don't have the facilities? You know what I'm saying? You got to start from somewhere. You got to start from somewhere. And a couple years ago, and I know I'm kind of going off, right? But this is just, conversation. A couple years ago, Des Bryant had made a comment about HBCUs moving up into a higher conference and being able to play, and people gave him a lot of backlash for that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand why he took the backlash. I still don't to this day, because but that would mean that every sport has to move up. And is HBCUs going to be at the bottom of the totem pole? Absolutely, they would be. But for how long? For how long would HBCUs actually be at the bottom of the totem pole if they decided to move up in conference play? How long? You know what I mean? Like, because I honestly don't think that it'd take too long before the money comes into effect. If that's the case, you know what I mean, the publicity will be there. It's going to take years to rebuild, but at some point they got to make the move into that realm to try to get more notoriety against playing against other schools. They have to do it at some point. At some point they have to do it. And I get it. You know what I mean? HBCUs were started largely because, if you know the history, a lot of, black students were not allowed to go to certain colleges, right? So historic black people that we know through history had started to open up colleges and start colleges for black students to be able to get a college education or a college degree. But now times have changed. And when the times have changed, we also have to change with the times. And if not, we're going to get left behind. Because one thing about business, and one thing about business that I'm recognizing, is that it's a copycat thing. And it's who does it better. And a lot of people steal. And there's no honor amongst thieves. But nobody in that, there's no honor amongst thieves, but nobody didn't say that there ain't no dollar signs. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's call it what it is. Like, now that we're seeing HBCU culture leak over into, if what, PWI, for the HBCU culture that may listen to this, or how we want to say it, mainstream college, or the major colleges, that culture is moving over, and it's been leaking over for years, but now it is literally embedded, and it's like, and it's dang near like second nature now, to where the bands traditionally, I don't remember, like, maybe they have been, but I don't remember watching games and hearing bands play pop music. It was all school songs, their little tunes for third or fourth down, whatever that may be. But I don't remember bands playing pop music and so forth and so on. But they're doing that, and maybe they have been, but the culture is definitely starting to leak over so much, because it's so, the experience you get is different, right? It's a different experience on campus and everything, and I think that everybody should be able to at least enjoy it, you know what I'm saying, for some point in time. And I think that's why they used to have what you call Freaknik. That was the experience of black colleges. It was supposed to be fun for, you know what I'm saying, for people to be able to go visit the black college, get that black college experience. But it's always been profitable and set and so big. But now it's kind of slowed down. It's slowed down, it stopped. And I think that it's just going to be worse, and it's endangering the HBCUs, to be honest, that the fact that they're not moving up. But I know that this started off talking about Bill Belichick and him going to go get somebody from Prairie View A&M. But that's what I'm saying though. Like if Bill Belichick saw the presence in him to move him to UNC to get him up there, like why haven't, you know what I mean, Prairie View A&M had to see the same thing. But there's a lot of gems, but diamonds in the rough out there. But you got to move up into the competition because you're gonna get left behind. You're going to get left behind because there's guys all through the SWAC, the MEAC, the CIAA, basketball, football wise, that can make that, you know what I'm saying, like that can absolutely change things, man. and and it all starts with a little bit of money or whatever. But I really don't know what's the path for them to take. And there's been a lot of people throughout the years to speak on this, and it really does not pick up any kind of steam. It don't pick up no steam. Nobody really cares about it. You know what I'm saying? People always it's one of those things that really get on your nerves, because it's like, dang, so many people talk about this and that having this and there's certain way, but then when it comes to supporting this kind of stuff, man, HBCUs are moving up. Like nobody cares. Nobody really care, bro. And the sports are getting better because of the transfer portal, so they're able to bring certain people in, certain players in for each sport, but still not able to make a stamp enough to lock in better television deals and things of that sort, because you're not playing. You're not getting enough notoriety. Not enough. We know they're there, but it's not enough. It's not enough for the bands to have their own channel or a couple of channels out there that showcase the HBCU bands. It's not enough to showcase the step teams and the sororities and fraternities of the HBCUs. That's not enough. It's not enough for those that have the channels for those to go over. That's not enough. You know what I mean? Like it's not enough for the bucking competitions to be out there on YouTube. That's not enough. It's not. And so when and I must ask, like, so when and my question would be to anybody would be like, so when do they realize that that's not enough, and when do they make that change to move up in competition? Because look, I get it. The MEAC, the CIAA, the SWAC, they were all started for HBCU conferences. Why should we have to drop our conference to move into another conference that is not HBCU? Well, I mean, damn, I mean, can't have your cake and eat it too. I think to drop a conference name, and you may not even have to drop the conference name. Hell, to be even in a meeting with other schools, they may say, "Shit, I want to drop the like. Let's drop this one. Let's keep the me out. Let's keep the SWAC. I like the name SWAC. So you know what I mean. I like the SWAC. Let's keep that. Let's drop the AC AAC. Let you know what I mean. Let's drop the Big East. Let's go with the MEAC or CIAA. You know what I'm saying? Like you never know unless they're out there having those meetings and trying to get these things done. Like closed mouths don't get fed. Um, you never know if you're gonna fail if you never try. And these are things that just ain't done. And then when you do bring these subjects up, it rubs some people the wrong way, especially alums at these HBCUs. Oh, that ain't gonna work. Why you trying to go into the PWI culture? Like, because number one, like it ain't working for us. It's not working to be a historic black college or university, and your facilities is trash. It's not working. It's not working. The fact that you ain't got money to fix your dorm rooms up, That's trash. Some of the most historic football players, Walter Payton will always be one of the best running backs in the NFL. He's in damn near any football fans. I don't care what color, creed, race they are. He's in their top 5. Period. Period. Everybody's going to mention Walter Payton Sweeten. Everybody does. There's HBCU. Is like, come on, like the best one that's building up, I think Jackson State recently, because Deion Sanders being there, bringing a lot of notoriety there. They've done a lot on campus. FAMU, they've doing a lot to their campus. Like, who else is doing anything for their campuses? Who is doing anything for their campuses? Hell, they may need to combine to move up, to build a bigger campus, to build a bigger university. You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, this got to happen, because it keeps saying that there's no money into this. There's no money in the HBCUs. You know what I mean? There's the facilities. Some of them is there's high school football stadiums in Texas that's better than 90% of the stadiums in HBCU. And it's been going on for years. Does it make people not love the universities? No, but at some point they got to move up. At some point, things have to move up. Things got to change. There should be absolutely a HBCU campus stadium, football stadium, big as Michigan's or Alabama's, that seats on. You know what I mean? Like, there should be a few of those. But there's not, and to me, I feel like that's a problem. Maybe not to a lot of other people, but I mean, if this is supposed to be representing something, like, what is it representing? That you can't get it done, that you don't want to get it done, or just maybe I'm just talking out my ass. Maybe I'm just talking out my ass, because we always got some diamonds in the rough every single year that's going to be poached. And now that the transfer portal's here, you can go in the transfer portal and build a decent team and build a competitive team out from the portal. You can get help from the portal. There's 7,000 players that's in the transfer portal right now. And you're going to be able to get your shot if you're HBCU moving into a conference or moving up in conference play. You're going to be able to get some of those blue chip prospects that are unhappy because of their playing time. You're going to be able to get those guys, especially if you're playing against some UNLVs, or, you know what I'm saying, group of 5 teams. Like, move up to the group of 5 at least. Like, they don't even got group of 5 stadiums. Like, it's crazy. Like, there's only a couple of schools that can say they got a group of 5 stadium, and you know what I mean, out of HBCUs, it ain't all of them. And then, I mean, and it's so top heavy to the point where it's like North Carolina Central, Jackson State, FAMU, Grambling used to be it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it's the same ones. And would it be a problem to combine some of the HBCUs together to build one power team, or a couple of power? Would that be a problem, or make? Because I get to talking like this because some people call it fantasy talk. Some people say it's innovative. And I think that's what it is, because, like, you got to think outside the box. You can't come with the same old boring content. This kind of original. I know some people have maybe discussed this before, but where do they go? Where do they go from here? Where do they go? Do they just let their whole culture just be adopted by what they call PWIs, and just say, okay, PWIs have got the culture and the chokehold. They got more money, so now they can bring all the, the rappers to campus. They're doing that now, and they've been doing that for the past couple years, bringing the artists on campus. They're doing the same things that y'all doing, that made HBCUs unique, and now HBCUs are just moving back. They're not making any profit no more. There's no profit to be made no more with HBCUs. You let the whole entire culture get adopted. It's crazy now because I've never seen. I don't know if it was out there before, but I've never seen a white step team in my life. But now I'm seeing them on TikToks. Like you see a white step team on TikTok. That's crazy. I mean, it's not crazy because it's crazy because how mainstream the culture is, and but you don't want to move into it. You want to keep holding yourself back and staying so small instead of moving into it. And don't say that they're not getting government money because they're going to accept government money. A lot of schools do. So where do they when do they move up? And what I mean by the white step team is saying like, okay, did white sororities ever step? I don't know. Somebody please answer that in the comments for me. Let me know. Cause I don't know. I've never seen it. Or maybe I just never looked for a white step team. I just never seen that. I think it's dope that, you know what I mean, people doing that, that people's, you know what I'm saying, branching out because it's so cool. But who like, I think a lot of things that started on the internet from fads came from somebody who was African American, because you know what I mean, I honestly do. Some African American kid came up with something and it became cool and it became a fad, and or whatever else. A lot of ideas come from that. But um that's neither here and there. But it's just like, but when I'm talking sports right now, and when does black sports, when do these black colleges and universities decide to step up in talent and say it's time for us to move into the future? It's time for us yes, it's time for us to move into the future. I appreciate what our founding fathers and founding mothers have done for us through time, and what they fought for and what they stood for and everything. But now the times is different, and if you're not willing to change, then I don't know what will. You know what I mean? If you're not willing to take that step further to that, I think that it's just hindering things. You don't have to change your academic standards or the people that you're going to help get into your colleges, because it helps out a whole lot of people that normally wouldn't get into a university. I don't think you have to change your criteria because you're moving into a step up, a level up. I don't think you would have to do that. You know what I mean? I honestly don't think you have to do that, especially if you combined with a couple of different HBCUs. Like I think, you know, um, start, combining a few of them. Combine a few of them if you need to build a powerhouse. Should be done, man. You know what I mean? Because and then because if not, in this whole transfer portal NIL era, man, you get left behind. But that's why we see Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, Eddie George. We see these guys moving to the HBCUs because they like, man, look, our sports departments need to be saved, and we got to go and save our sports department. We got to go and save our the historic Black college and university sports. We got to go save them. Um, we got to go help out and do our part instead of just talking about it, because they need to be playing better competition. They need to be noted. They need to be on notice that this school is here. And then with the, like I said, once again, with the transfer portal, there's 7,000 players that stuck. There's at least 3,000 players that stuck all the time. Players being forced out. You know what I'm saying? Because of older players coming in, there's always going to be somewhere to land, a college or university, if you decide to go to HBCU level. But the only thing with that is a lot of HBCU players don't get recognized for the draft. They don't get invited to drafts and stuff, but a lot of that is because they're not noticed. Or who are you playing against? Your tape on who is against who. You know what I'm saying? I get that. The tape's not out there. The network deals are not there. The network deals got to change. It was on its way of changing when Prime was there. Um, I don't know if Michael Vick or Deshaun Jackson will be a big enough draw, because Eddie George hasn't been at Tennessee State, even though Tennessee State's been one of his best seasons yet. But they got it. There's a lot of talent in all sports there, man. And at some point, They got to move up in the competition level. And I think this is why they're making that choice. And the NIL is this is the era to do it through. If you never felt the need to ever do it, ever, the presidents at these historic black colleges and universities to move up, you should feel like this is the era where we can absolutely make a killing and where we can absolutely help more and get everything that we need. Sponsorship, this unlimited. It's unlimited to the things that you can be able to do now. Like it really is. There's already students at these schools who are, artists, content creators. There's a lot that people already know about these schools and stuff. But man, once you go ahead and once these sports move into the mainstream and people know about it, everything else is going to take off, and it's just going from there. It's just going to monopolize unless they keep sitting back and playing second fiddle to the PWIs, and they're just going to be broke, and they never go. And these facilities will never be fixed, or whatever else. I think they have the opportunity to move up and move forward. I don't even like. It's sad to say this, like but I don't know. Like HBCU compared to me, they're compared to like North Dakota States and South Dakota State. Although North Dakota States and South Dakota States may blow them out of the water, but they started from somewhere, and now that this NIL era is here, they're going to move up. Their facilities are good. Their facilities are better. And hell, there's only one college in one state. Maybe you got to break that down to some, you know what I mean? Maybe you got to break some of that stuff down in the FCS. The FCS level schools, man, are going to rise up. They're on their way of rising up. I think you're going to start seeing some of these FCS schools like North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana. They're probably going to move into the Mountain West Conference. They're probably going to make that move to go into the Mountain West Conference. And I don't see nothing wrong with doing that. I honestly don't. I think it's going to help those schools become even bigger. And while we're seeing those FCS schools get better, certain FCS schools in the MEAC, SWAC, and CIAA are going to get left behind because they're not willing to make that change. They're not willing to make that change. So, and I mean, that's all I had to really say. And it was just on my mind and was something that I wanted to speak about. But y'all let me know, in the comments. Light me up in the comments. Let me know. You know what I mean? Let me know exactly how you feel about this. Is this am I on the right track here? Would you like to see this change happen? Because do you think it would help them? Or do you think that they're taking a step back with not actually trying to move up into conference plays? And shout out to Bill Belichick because he's always went into the MEAC, SWAC, and CIAA and other FCS levels and to these historic black colleges and universities and have grad players. He's always been known that. Look at the page. It's just not my word for it. You can check it. You can fact check me. Go look at the Patriots roster and look at some of the players. He's always done it. There's always a certain amount of coaches in the NFL that do that. But Bill Belichick has always been one. And I just wanted to shout him out. Hell of a coach, hell of a person. And I think it's pretty dope, man, that he goes around everywhere and looks for players and not just a certain pipeline of schools. All right. And I think that's what's going to separate Belichick up there in North Carolina. And I think he's heading in the right direction. And it brought up some other conversation within me. So I like it. I really like the topic, man. But y'all know how I'm giving it up. I'll be back with another one later. Go enjoy some going out with the fam. Peace.